Good morning, my billionaire friends. I hope you're comfortable. Welcome back to my channel, Pips and Profits. From today, the 23rd of September 2023, we're going to be running you through the weekly outlook. We're going to be looking at our previous analysis and how it played out, and we're going to be looking at what we expect to see in the coming week. Our basic focus for this video is, of course, the dollar and other dollar-based or dollar-quoted currencies. Okay. So we're going to be starting with the dollar index right away. Now, as usual, we'll start from the monthly. Looking at the monthly time frame, we can see that price is just playing out accordingly as we have projected in the previous weeks running into months. Okay, so since the month of July, we said we are in a resumption of an uptrend or a buy continuation for the dollar. Okay, so we've been seeing strong bullishness and expansions for the dollar to the upside. So we've confirmed that on the monthly time frame. We're strongly bullish on the dollar. However, our objective for last week was not clearly achieved, being that we expected price to take out this old high and trade into this fair value gap. Okay, so price has avoided that objective this week. So we're looking at going into next week. We expect price to achieve that objective. All right. So we will expect price to create a fair value gap somewhere within this month's candle and trade into this fair value gap residing right above here. The external liquidity has been taken, so our objective now is for the internal liquidity to be taken. Let's switch down to the weekly time frame to see what we are expecting. Okay, so for this week we expected a retracement and an expansion, and it has taken place. You can see the wick to the downside. Let me take this off. You can see the wick to the downside indicating a retracement, all right, for most of this week, and a further expansion, but the expansion was not able to take out this high, this weekly high right here, and trade into the monthly fair value gap. Okay, so we can see liquidity residing right above here. So this will possibly be our next objective for the coming week. We expect price to expand further into this high and then possibly give its own version of the retracement. Okay, so we expect to see price move all the way up. However, we can see that there is a buy side imbalance, sell side inefficiency residing on the weekly. Look at all these green candles. So we may be expecting some deep retracements. Okay, all right, we are having what we call the seasonal tendency, and that may be taking place for the dollar. So we are expecting price to retrace all the way right here. Okay, all the way to some discount level here on the weekly time frame. Okay, so we'll proceed. But that being said, we'll just be looking out for what we want to see in the market now. What are we looking for in the market now? What is the market showing us now? Not what we expect to see in the market. That is what we are trading. Okay, so we'll be expecting to see the market take out this liquidity, trade into this fair value gap before maybe a massive drop or a little drop to the downside, aligning with the seasonal tendency for the dollar. Okay, so that being said, we'll move to the daily time frame. And looking at the daily time frame, you can see that the structure has been very clear on the daily time frame. Okay, so last week we saw the market move all the way to expand to this level, and we said we were expecting to see a retracement. Now look at this, guys. You can see how that price retraced into some discount level, even to about below 61.8. So that was discount level enough before we started seeing the expansion that started on Wednesday. All right, even after the FOMC, this was the move pre-FOMC. And when we were doing our analysis last week, I told you that we were expecting the FOMC to come out bullish. All right, and a few other like the core PMI, I think. Yes, the PMI and a few other fundamentals, we're expecting them to be bullish on the dollar. All right, because from the technical aspect, we're seeing bullishness on the dollar. You can see how that has pushed the dollar to the upside. Okay, now moving down to looking at the daily, what do we expect to see? We expect to see further expansions Now you can see that clearly this high, the liquidity residing above this high has not been taken. So we expect to see further expansions to the upside around 1.05878 region. We want to see expansions above that level. Alright, so after that expansion, we also want to see price trade into the monthly fair value gap. Alright, so that's what we're expecting to see on the daily. So we can take off this Fibonacci retracement tool. So going into next week, we want to see now we can also take out this rectangle tool and replace it down here, because the fair value gap that it represented has been traded into. Okay, so we can look at another fair valuation of price that we expect. We expect fair valuation of price into this level. This is the new fair value gap that has been created right here on the daily. So any retracements, we'll be expecting it to come into somewhere around here before price continues its way upwards. Okay, so looking into next week, we expect price to trade above here and return to somewhere around here. Okay, so this is our outlook for next week. Let me give you that here. We expect price to trade above here, and then okay, this is misbehaving. So this is it. Expect price to trade above and then come back below to somewhere here, and then maybe return back upwards. So this is my outlook for next week on the dollar. Trade above, take out liquidity, right, and then trade below into a fair value gap and continue its move to the upside. This is my outlook for the dollar, guys. All right, so let me just take a look at a dollar-based currency or a dollar-quoted currency. I prefer to use the Great British Pound. All right, that's my preference in terms of checking out other currencies against the dollar. Now we can look quickly at what we projected last week on the Great British Pound and other dollar denominated currencies, or dollar denominated pairs rather, forgive me. So on the monthly, we said we are clearly in an expansion to the downside. Now you can see the massive candle that this month has produced, showing us clearly that GBPUSD has resumed its downtrend. As you can see clearly here, this is the upside, the downside, lower low, lower high. The next thing we're expecting for GBPUSD is to trade below 1.02558 all the way to parity. Okay, we expect to see GBPUSD within now and the coming months to trade all the way to parity. Okay, 1.0000. Okay, this is what we're expecting GBPUSD to do, flatten all the way to parity. All right, it avoided that sometime last year in September, and now we're in another September. So going into next year, from now to the next year, we're expecting GBPUSD to trade into parity. All right, so that is our outlook for GBPUSD in the long run. However, we can look at it on the weekly time frame, and we can see that we are clearly broken structure. Okay, remember last week we said that we're expecting GBPUSD to into this week, we're expecting GBPUSD to trade below here. I hope most of you took advantage of that. I did, and I hope you did so too. All right, so I was short GBPUSD for the most of this week, from Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even late into Friday yesterday. All right, sometime around 3 p.m. GMT +1, I was short GBPUSD in the New York session. Okay, so you can see how that GBPUSD has taken out this low. We are clearly bearish on GBPUSD, guys. So we can also look at going into next week. We expect GBPUSD to trade into this volume imbalance. There's a volume imbalance residing right here. I can expand that so that you will see it clearly. The volume imbalance residing right here. We expect GBPUSD to trade into it. Okay, this is it right here. It's spot on. So going into next week, I expect GBPUSD to trade into this volume imbalance right here. Okay, so this is my expectation for GBPUSD going into next week. We can look at the daily time frame and see what the price action has shown us in the daily time frame. Clearly on the daily time frame, same thing as the weekly, the expansion to the downside has taken place, taking away this liquidity. However, on the daily time frame, we can be expecting some form of retracement Okay, so there are two things that I'm expecting GBPUSD to do. My two outlook for GBPUSD: first is to trade into this fair value gap, or we can call it a volume imbalance. That is my first outlook for GBPUSD. My second outlook is some retracement into premium before coming down all the way here. So this is my outlook for GBPUSD. The first and the second outlook. The second outlook we can use a Fibonacci tool to evaluate that, or to verify that. Okay, so this is 38.2. okay, so we may be even expecting it to trade all the way to equilibrium, right, filling in the fair value gap residing right here. Okay, so there's a fair value gap coinciding with equilibrium level. There's also a fair value gap coinciding with 61.8 premium level. So these are confluences that I'll be looking forward to see. And then there's another block, of course, residing right here. And then this break mitigation block that is residing far below, right, the left hand side. So my outlook for GBPUSD going into the new week: one is to trade into this volume imbalance. Two is to trade into some level of premium coinciding with any of the fair value gap, whether it's one to the downside or to go on to the upside. But I'm suspecting, because price is strongly bearish, this is the fair value gap that I'm suspecting, this one to the downside. So this is the fair value gap that I'm suspecting GBPUSD will want to fill up before trading downward. So this is my outlook on GBPUSD and the dollar. You can use similar analysis for other dollar based or dollar quoted currencies like the USD JPY, USD CAD, Euro USD, AUD USD. I'm sure pretty much they will replicate what we have analyzed here. Okay, so this is my outlook for this next week that we're going into, and I hope you trade profitably. Until next week, we'll meet again, and if anything changes in our analysis, definitely we're going to give you a midweek review. But we'll meet again next week. Thank you very much. If you've not liked this channel, please like. If you've not liked this video and you found it helpful, please make sure you like. And then if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe and share it with your friends. Okay, so like, share and subscribe. I encourage you to do that, and that will keep us encouraged to shoot more videos like this. Until we meet again next time, stay safe and stay profitable. Cheers and God bless, guys.